Hey everybody, welcome back to Collegiate R6 Season 5, Week 3. Our second series is hot and ready. We've got Bradley Braves versus the Red Tails Esports. This is going to be a great game. And we've got our map so we can take a look at the bands. Poseidon, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling fantastic. Thank you for asking. So if we look at our maps here, it looks like we're going to be playing Coastline first. That's going to be, uh, I believe that was Bradley's pick, and that's going to be our first map that we're going up with tonight. How do you
Of
feel
course,
about that?
second is Club. I enjoy Coastline. It's a pretty frag heavy map, if you want my opinion. Personally, I haven't, though, seen Bradley University or Red Tail, so I can't really give too much of an idea as to, whether or not these teams would kind of lean into that frag heavy gun as you go type style. As far as our second and third maps, though, Red Tail's pick will be Clubhouse, followed as our decider by Theme. So a pretty good split overall. Lucky for us casters, no cafe, but as both teams are ready, we'll be heading on into the action for our first map. Coastline is on the way.
Yeah, Coastline. I'm excited for Coastline, honestly, because as much as I dislike playing Coastline as a map, if Bradley Braves were the ones that picked Coastline there, and that means it didn't end up as the decider map 3. They picked it outright. That means that they must be very confident in playing it, and I think that's furthered by the fact that Hawkeye decided to choose defense on Coastline, because you know that Coastline is one of the few maps where it's actually advantageous somewhat to the attackers compared to most maps. Uh, so it's very interesting. I'm excited to see how Bradley is going to attack this. And the first ban from Hawkeye there was Ace. Now Ace hasn't been getting to see a lot of play, especially in CR6, considering how powerful he is. So he's been banned quite a bit, and the Braves are going to ban Montaigne. I'm assuming that's most likely, even though they're attacking first, and that's having Montaigne is conducive to the attackers. That's most likely for when they get to defend. They don't want that kitchen push to be super easy there through the stock, that stock door. And they're also going to ban Pulse, because there's a lot of soft destruction that can be done, a lot of soft floors that Pulse could potentially get kills through, and maybe not a terribly common strategy, but maybe they know something. They maybe think that Hawkeye is going to attempt to do that on their defense, so they're going to start to get that ban out there, so Hawkeye doesn't have the chance. And the final one, wouldn't be surprised to see a typical ban here. Yeah, as I was going to say, it's either Mira or Malusi, and it is indeed going to be Malusi. So those are the two new operators just out of quarantine. They get the 1 season quarantine, both banned. They're not going to get to see play this game, or this map anyways.
Definitely spot on when you mention picking Coastline. You're going to be confident. You wouldn't pick Coastline if you're not, ready to come onto this map. You're hot, you're gunning, you're good to go. I think whichever team can come out of the gate and win in these one-on-one engagements will overall trend better, and I think that's a pretty blanket statement as it applies to Coastline, which relies a lot on gun skill, and removing the Monty as well is a critical blow to the more structured attacking executes that we would see, and now it'll force BU to start off and play mostly to their guns. Taking a look at the lineup, we'll see the Habana in place, obviously, of the Ace, who was removed and his Selma's gone. Habana is definitely, I would say, the most common of the hard breachers, though for Coastline specifically, Ace is a bit of a rival, though, in the fact that not only can he deploy his gadgets from range, but they also open a substantial amount more than those Habana X Kairos.
Yeah, no, it's best. It's definitely like it comes at a range, and you can open more holes than Thermite could, and they're just all about the same size. So he's very strong. But and I was gonna tag on with what you said earlier, which was what tagged on to what I said earlier about picking Coastline. I wanted to say there's two kinds of teams: the teams that pick Coastline and the teams that insta-ban Coastline. So because it's literally like probably the biggest schism between Rainbow Six Siege competitive teams, the ones who like to play Coastline and the ones who absolutely hate playing Coastline. So it's not every day you get to see Coastline played, especially first. So this will be interesting. And now the attack is underway here from Bradley. We see a few players spawning over in Ruins. Looks like the rest of them spawned over in Pool. And we do see the Iana seeing more and more play lately. in the competitive scene. She is just basically a better drone, and she gets like infinite of them. They're just on a time cooldown. So, and she gets a good arsenal as well of some pre-existing guns, the G36 and the ARX. So, very good there. And the Mira did make it through for the defenders, so Rogue is going to be taking advantage of that. Now, you don't see most defensive strategies having Mira, in their strategy. So whether they had Mira or not, if they didn't have Mira in their strategy, it could be detrimental to try and implement a Mira, because if you don't have Mira in your strategy and then Mira is there and you're like, oh guys, Mira's available, we can pick her, that might actually do more harm than it does good. So we'll have to see how that works out.
Having the Mira here is definitely important to bring up, and the Legion will quickly make work of those X-Kairos. So the hard breaching process encountering a bit of a roadblock, but to speak about the Mira, maybe this will be a bit closer to the defense. Obviously, this being Hawkeye's pick, and them having the Mira as well to lock things off could be beneficial. The Ash to get the opening kill. Jaeger shut down swiftly. His worst player entries onto the board. Atlas, that's a critical death, and almost the snap on the wall bank to collect the player rotating into billiards. A big stack up here from the Braves outside on the aquarium balcony. It seems a south to north push will be the play. K9 attempting to get the Zofia, the pre-firing all the way. He's got the shield and the ADSs stacked up to protect him. Though the positions of the ADS, if they're able to waste them, removing the shield could be critical. Wiping out the Legion down. K9 goes in a 2-0 advantage to the Braves, starting off this attacking round excellently.
Exactly how I thought this would start to go, considering that the Bradley Braves are the ones that picked this map, and we see that they're already off to a great start. Pete trying to bring it back, though, by taking out Supa. That's going to be the Iona, but it doesn't matter, because Boyd John's going to get the refrag, and the diffuser has been placed down. Just under 40 seconds left. Pete is going to get flashed in full view of that Ash, but he's not going to get punished for it. And in fact, Rogue is going to be the one to take him out. A nice headshot there from the Vector. That's going to be worst player, the Ash, falling out. Cyclone, Boyd John, and Prodigy 4-2 versus Rogue and Pete. Boyd John is up behind them. Pete's trying to get the defuse off, but Boyd John falls through the hatch. Oh no. Pete does get off the diffuser, though. He thinks he heard something. Down goes the Mira. Now it's all on the Wamai. Pete does take out Prodigy, but he will get taken out by Cyclone from the double window. Cyclone, the Hibana, sitting there in the window the whole time. Actually, no. Well, not the whole time, but got there just at the right time to take out the Wamai and win the round. That one was, despite being more or less firmly in the hands of the Bradley Braves, it was a little rocky there for a second with some of the strategies there slightly falling apart, and the Hawkeye just really coming back a little harder than I think Bradley expected there on the retake.
If the Wamai had stuck the defuse, I honestly think Hawkeye could have won that round. Obviously, you have to worry about the big window angle, which we saw the Hibana take up in the dying seconds of the round, as well as the rotate coming in through luggage. But because of the fact that Zofia kind of stumbled there inside Hookah and fell down the hatch, that was the perfect opportunity. But unfortunately, we did see Pete get off of that, and thus the opportunity for the round win faded away. A return to Hookah. Hawkeye not too keen to immediately switch up sites. They're going to retry it, maybe switch a couple things up. We'll see the notable departure in that they're no longer bringing the Mira, a key operator in that last round, whose effect was relatively little, and it didn't seem like those mirrors really impacted the Bradley Braves' attack whatsoever.
No, the only thing that really helped the Mira was the Vector, because the Mira did end up getting a kill, but was not able to convert any more, standing in that double door rate about where Atlas is. From the other side, though, from Bradley, that attack was very fast, and that just shows their confidence on Coastline, because fast attacks, if you keep getting beat by fast attacks on your defense, then there's absolutely nothing you can do. Fast attacks are like the mark of a team who really knows what they're doing on Coastline. So
you're spot on in that, Coastline already being a frag-heavy map. If Bradley Braves, they've got all of the various variables under control, they can quickly get this done. An explosive detonating, I wonder if that was an impact onto the door. I'm not entirely sure. K9 once more will remove all of the X-Kairos. I think might have missed that one. Not sure. It looks like it will detonate, but Pete elsewhere on the Wamai, shutting down worst player early. The player who we saw get the opening kill in the first round will himself suffer an early demise. Good start here for Hawkeye, slowing this down, removing the Ashe, a key entry operator, the spearhead of the Braves' offense. That is going to force them to play this a bit more passively. They're focusing on trying to clear out the first floor as well as applying some horizontal pressure on the second.
Yeah, Boyjon in the meantime here is coming up on a potential free kill on Wagons if Wagons keeps getting on camera without realizing that Boyjon's here. But no, Boyjon's going to take a couple shots at random and give away his position. The Legion's going to fire back. Boyjon is like widely pincered between the Valkyrie and the Legion, but I don't think it's enough to really put any pressure on him. But it looks like he's getting closer to the Legion right now. But Iana is going to be sending out a drone, but there's... Yeah, that was a little bit of a waste. The door wasn't exactly open just yet. So a little bit of these little hiccups making the defense a little easier for Hawkeye at the moment, as there still has not been a refrag for worst player. Boyjon slowly making his way up the white stairs. Going to try to maybe go through luggage, but there's a well-defended dock in or near Aqua there. And so it's going to be hard for him, even if he gets all the way up, there's barbed wire. And what's he going to do to Rogue here? Rogue can just sit behind the shield. They haven't really gotten rid of it yet. He's got ADSs, he's got Wamai magnets, he's got a Legion watching luggage with the new 1.5 on the T5 SMG. So things are not looking good for Bradley right now.
Struggling a bit, and Rogue getting a double kill, though shut down eventually by Boyjon, who quickly refragged on the Legion swing from Billiards. A 1v4 for Prodigy. The odds stack so heavily against the IQ's favor. Struggling to take out K9 and now suffering the effects of the Goo Mine. He'll rotate, dropping down into the courtyard over the blacktop. Still, the Goo Mine will have to pull it out of his ankle. 15 seconds to get the execute done, but with no clear path to regaining the diffuser, and with so many Hawkeye defenders to contest with, this doesn't look like a possible round, and Hawkeye will take it, closing it out, and they even us out at 1-1 with a successful Hookah defense.
Indeed, yeah, Prodigy just just padding the stat line a little bit. That was an impactless frag there at the end. There was absolutely no way that he could have won that round like that. Great play from Rogue. Like I said, what are you gonna do about the the reinforced dock up in Aqua Bar? You can't get him out, and he double kills the people out on the Aqua balcony. He does get refragged, but he's already done his damage, and then that person gets refragged. So that was a great round by Hawkeye, especially taking out worst player in the beginning. It's interesting now, worst player, I was gonna say there's no way worst player sticks the Kali, since from playing the Ashe going to Kali. Yeah, he's going back to Ashe. That's a little worrying to me. But yeah, now it looks like Hawkeye, after having won Hookah Billiards, is going to go down to the kitchen service for their second. They can't go back, obviously, so this is going to be their second now defensive site, and they're going to be bringing the Maestro this time around and the Mira again.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
So where do you think the notable departure was as far as differences between the first two rounds, both on Hookah? Because the Braves were incredibly dominant in the first round. They moved quickly, they shut down anything that Hawkeye attempted, but in that second round, it just seemed like they couldn't get a solid footing.
Yeah, here's what I think happened. So first of all, Hawkeye lost the Mira and replaced it with the Dock, which was Rogue, and obviously we saw Rogue have big effect about towards the latter half of the round there in Aqua. He wasted a lot of time, and that's the other thing, is that they lost worst player very early on. I don't remember who took him out, but they lost worst player very early on. That's the key thing, and after that they just seemed to be going so slow. They took literally all the time, as opposed to like the first attack round where they got the diffuser down in like the first minute. So it was like a completely different round entirely, despite being the same map.
I think it's kind of a compacting issue, obviously, with worst player dying early or you losing one of your entry players. But Hawkeye, after seeing the fact that they shut down the Ashe early, they really turtled up. They wasted a ton of time. You mentioned, I believe it was Rogue playing behind the Aqua Bar. He was stacked up. We didn't see that same situation in the first round where he got aggressive and he died on the pre-fire. No, in the second round, just prior, he was able to collect a double kill, completely stalling out the Bradley offense coming through from Aqua balcony. And ultimately, it just was over after that. The IQ had to drop down. She went for a complete rotate. Things did not go her favor. Let's take a look now, though, at round number 3. A strong setup on the top floor, vertical play being opened up everywhere and locking off some of these common positions. A nitro cell tossed above will fail to deal any damage onto the player outside on the VIP balcony, just skating by with his life. Boy John will be glad not to have suffered that fate, but worst player continuing to either be the opening frag or get the opening frag as he shuts down the Jaeger and starts us off in a 5-on-4 as the Legion attempting to play this a bit aggressively at base.
Yeah, this is a bit curious. They have bandit batteries and a mirror window, and so, you know, valuable stuff that can be destroyed. And they had no upstairs presence whatsoever. They're trying now to get late upstairs presence. Atlas has already died, though. Pete's going to go all the way out into the main lobby, and we already saw Wagons, the Legion, trying to make his way up base, but they had a drone on him. There was nothing he could do. They really, I think, really messed this round up by having absolutely no upstairs presence with how, like, valuable the stuff they needed, you know, the stuff they had on the... on that first floor was. And there goes the mirror as well through the floor. This vertical play absolutely killing them and their gadgets. I think they really dropped the ball by not having any upstairs presence here, and it's Bradley's just going to continue to crack this one open. There's players off site. I think K9's probably the only one actually on site at this point. And there he goes.
Not for long as he gets taken out. Supa, obviously on the Nomad, the CR6 doing the work necessary to take that gunfight. Wagons hiding in Harry Potter, and Pete inside Blue Bar will be forced to retake it. It doesn't seem like Bradley are aware of the site being clear, which could be a stumbling block. Cyclone has the defuse, and he will begin that process, but the pre-fire coming out from Boy John might be able to collect a second one. Wagons low HP, but it'll be worse. Player swinging from main lobby. The Braves, they cracked it open, yes, in a flawless round to boot. That upstairs pressure completely looked past. You have to put stuff up there. You have a mirror. What are you going to do with that second window? You're not going to put it on stock wall. It'll just get opened up by a Habana. You need to at least invest something on that top floor, because you saw how fast Bradley, they got upstairs, they cleared everything out. It was well drone. They had plenty of intel. And then after they had all of that done, they quickly pivoted to achieving the vertical play, which proved so crucial in establishing that site control.
Yeah, that was, like I said, that was so confusing to me because they picked off all 3 site players from upstairs, I believe, and then site was left empty as Legion and Bandit were off site. And I mean, that was it. That was the round effectively. You cannot retake site with Bandit and Legion from 5 players. It's just like you know, because if attack can't do it with 5 players that easily by just pushing through the first floor and not taking the second floor, how is defense going to do it with 2 players when the attackers have gadgets designed for breaching and entering? So it was that once they lost all site control, it was just impossible at that point. And now once again we see Hawkeye drop the Mira, this time in favor of a Vigil, and they're also bringing the Warden. They did not 6-pick off of the Warden, so this is an entirely different strategy now. They're keeping the Bandit to try and keep that stock wall closed, or service wall closed, but and it looks like they might now have upstairs presence, maybe with K9 running the shotgun primary. They're making rotate holes and footholes here, so I believe now they have figured out the how valuable upstairs control is. Rogue will be bringing the Vigil upstairs, and K9 will be roaming with the shotgun, which is, I'm curious to see how that works out.
Bomb has been located.
So far in this game, it feels like Hawkeye is just one round behind. They play out their objective. It doesn't work. They see what mistakes were made, and they try to fix it. That's what happened on Hookah. The Braves started out with an excellent offensive setup, and that's exactly what happened on round number 3 for Kitchen. And so now Hawkeye completely changing everything up as far as their setup. And I think this is the right decision, though I'm also intrigued by the Warden. I feel like Warden, not so much an operator you would put on a vertical extension, because he usually tends to work out best in those situations where you're really entrenched, you know, on the objective, trying to hold, you know, a really tight corner where you've got plenty of ADSs backing you up, and then you can simply switch on that gadget in order to see through all of the utility. So it's definitely an odd choice, though. Maybe this is kind of just up to presence. Look at this, though. Again, it's a round where, you know, or rather a series of rounds. Braves start off well. They really take it aggressively, and then switching to the next round, they slow down a bit.
Yeah, and That is true. Like I did notice that they even got the safest thing out of all of the roof hatch in the upstairs bathroom. They took even longer to get that. So like this change up just always affects them. They still have not got the opening kill, despite the fact that they have pings. They know where people are. They know who they are. The only thing I'm curious about is if I'm Bradley and I know that they have a warden, and I know for a fact that he has the shotgun and SMG-12. You can tell that just by the basic things. I'm not scared. I'm gonna drop that hatch. I'm gonna take that gunfight. There's even if you had the MPX, there's no way if you're like playing Ash or Zofia that the warden wins that gunfight on you. Like that's why I'm so curious about the warden pick. And the attackers are already going in here. Looks like the Ash is looking right into Guitar Hall, and that's exactly what happens. You lose the gunfight with the SMG-12. Worst player is going to get the opening pick once again. Nice headshot onto K9. Start opening up the floor. Atlas takes a little bit of damage through the floor from that explosive, and somehow worst player does not connect any shots there. Rogue now down on the first floor. The upstairs presence has already been lost, but they did waste a lot more time, as you said. Now 30 seconds left on the clock, and he'll be holding the bottom of Cool Vibe stairs. Bradley University definitely taking their time here. Things moving a lot slower than before, and things are starting to slow down now.
This is exactly the way you want things to go. You mentioned how a strong and very swift attacking team can get an incredible upper hand. Worst player finding a triple kill. Pete and Rogue making their best efforts to frag it back, but denying the plant will be a difficult task. The Habana swinging out the Vigil to make the connection, and Rogue on a double kill. Now, the attackers who were seemingly trapped in their sight will flex their muscles, and a nice wallbang, the headshot from Rogue to find himself the third kill. He'll have to collect onto the final attacker, though. Supa on the Nomad closing off this rotate. He's got a long angle, and this is where the Nomad will succeed. It's so close here, but he'll get it on the pre-fire, shutting down Rogue. The clutch attempt will be unsuccessful. Bradley Braves, despite the low time and the lack of vertical control, are able to take it off the back of a good clutch.
Yeah, that was very close, but yeah, once again, I think that just comes down to Bradley having, picked this map and knowing it, the 20-second meta really coming out there, and worst player. I mean, that that round was entirely won on the back of worst player. He got a triple kill overall in the entire round and planted the diffuser. The only other person getting any kills was Supa, and I believe it was Prodigy had the Nomad. Those are the only two other people to get any kills. Worst player had 3 kills on the round, clearing out the roam and taking sight and planting the diffuser. Definitely the MVP of that round, if not all the rounds so far for Bradley.
Unfortunate that they lost that last round because it looked like they made the right diagnosis. They changed things up. I wonder if maybe they had dedicated just a little bit more utility to the top floor hold if they would have succeeded. A big thing to look at is the fact that Bradley, for a large part of round number 4, were really hesitant. You mentioned them not choosing to drop the hatch, being really kind of skeptical to engage with the Warden, though eventually being able to take that gunfight and win it, which is obviously a pretty easy task for the Ash, all things considered. They were able to kind of make up for their early losses. I would have liked to see that be a bit faster. Braves, it seems, when they're encountering, an unknown obstacle, and we're seeing Hawkeye make some changes, switch off from their more traditional operators, they tend to be a bit slower in trying to make the adaptations. And it's good to see from Hawkeye, even though they're down by a 2-round lead, they're still not afraid to change up operators to completely switch things around, though mostly it seems like they're kind of teeter-tottering back and forth between a really turtled up objective style hold and then a really extended roam.
Yeah, unfortunately for Hawkeye, if I had to pick like a cornerstone of what was the beginning of the downfall for that round, it was definitely the fact that they chose Warden. I'm not gonna blame the player. I'm gonna blame the operator. K9. I'm not gonna blame K9. It's really hard to win a duel with an Ash, especially when the Ash has the jump on you. But I feel like if K9 were playing anyone other than Warden, he would have had a much better chance of winning that gunfight. And once that happened, then the Vigil had to run downstairs, and then upstairs control was once again in the hands of Bradley. So I believe that was what caused the downfall of that round. But now we're moving into the next round here. Attack is already inside, so once again, Bradley's back on the fast attack. They've taken Sunrise with several operators. Pete also has taken some damage through the floor. Quite significant amount of damage, actually, about a third of his health from the Ash breaching round. And so he's just going to continue to sit there as Wagons will play on the stairs and get taken out by Supa as he gets a little too aggressive on that Sunrise door. Now they know they're in Sunrise, but they did lose Wagons for it. Jaeger, despite having passive utility, not one of the operators you want to lose considering how, strong of a gunfighter Jaeger tends to be. Worst player clearing out the magnets, now knows there's nothing there. He's going to reload his breaching round launcher, and he's going to move right on in. This site is actually clear for the most part, and wow, what a nice headshot through the wall into Pete. That goes Wamai. Gonna pre-fire the Cool Vibe stairs. There's nothing there, though. That site is completely free and clear. Prodigy will get the plant down, and now the retake begins for Hawkeye. Atlas through the smoke, a nice headshot onto Prodigy, and K9's going to follow it up, taking out Boyjon. Going to try to get Ash as she leaves sight, but that's not happening. Down goes Vigil. That's going to be Cyclone picking that one up. And now it is a 2v3 retake for Hawkeye. K9 a little hurt. And Rogue's going to start taking fights through the window outside, not able to down anyone, though. K9 is next to the diffuser, but worst player, the potential MVP here once again on the rappel, is trying to bait out worst player out to try and get the kill on him. Rogue picking up 2 kills in the meantime. It's all worst player now, and I think he's going to try and stick this defuse. If he gets off, he loses. He's got to try and get him off the defuse.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no! He's not able to get the Legion off the defuse. The perfect long arm from K9, and Rogue picking up 2 kills. Once again, that Doc proving absolutely destructive for that attack. And wow, just when Bradley Braves thought they might have had it, K9 with the long arm going to sneak it right past worst players. He can only see a couple pixels of his leg and is just not able to connect enough shots with the R4C.
I'm shocked after that round, and I think so too is K9 with the Tachanka pick. But worst player, a rare miss from him. He's usually crack on in those gunfights that I think, in the post plan, you're so kind of hyped up that the round, it's coming to a close. You've got the diffuser down. The defense is forced to play hardball. They have to get aggressive. And in those situations, you do tend to get a little bit shaky. And worst player, there was a couple of pixels exposed, the leg, the arm, but ultimately he dumped the whole mag. And even though there was almost the exact amount of time, if he had forced the player off the diffuser, if he had downed him, it would have been a round win. Ultimately, no. The perfect ninja diffuse, and you've got to give it to Rogue, who is just going nuclear so far for Hawkeye in this game. 8-4 on the kills to deaths, and making that possible. Only the Ash left alive in the clutch to get that round, and dealing with those last 2. You also saw the wonderful wallbang or pre-fire or something through the smoke. That was a very flashy kill as well. And ultimately, Hawkeye take a round that they most certainly should not have. And you also need to look at the fact that Wagons died so early. He made a really questionable response to what was, frankly, from Bradley, an atypical attacking setup. They tried to push in through Sunrise, which is not completely unseen or, unheard of for Coastline. But the way that they went about it is very typical to the Bradley Brave setup. Honestly, I think that round cannot be studied. You can't take anything from it, ultimately, other than simply them having faith in the defuse.
Yeah, that attack should not have worked as well as it did. You would not expect the Jaeger on Cool Vibes to peek you and give you that kill. And wow, right through the wall. It's going to be worst player taking out Rogue. I wanted to say earlier, this has literally been the worst player and Rogue show. They've been showing off back and forth, flashy kills through the wall bang, or through the wall, through the smoke. Both of them have been, they were both 8-3 for worst player, 8-4 for Rogue, but now it's going to be 8-5 and 9-3 for worst players. He picks up his rival. They're taking out the roaming Vigil. That's going to be huge pick for Bradley here, removing that top fragger. And this is a site that Hawkeye has failed to win both times that they've attempted it. And so will they have learned anything this time around? Nice gunfight here from Atlas and worst player. Atlas does manage to find worst player there in the end. Really long gunfight, but he has taken quite a bit of damage, and they kind of have him trapped. Now that there's that hole there, they're just going to keep opening stuff up. They have the door watch, and it looks like Prodigy's going to be picking this up. A nice headshot as Atlas puts his head right in the middle of that crosshair, and now he falls. As a 4v3 situation for Bradley Braves on the attack. They have the window open here, and see how this continues. Boy John's going to move on in to the hall. K9's got quite a nice angle there through the shelves. Wagon's also watching with the Alda. A lot of bullets there to hold that down. Flashes are coming in. No ADSs to remove them. It's going to force K9 to wiggle around a little bit as Cyclone starts to open up the wall from the more advised side. You saw him pull out the X-Kairos launcher from the window thinking he might do it from there. I guarantee you those would have been shot off.
So, interesting that we see the castle barricade and locking off the bathroom rotate. This will make those last-second executes, which we are getting awfully close to, a bit more difficult. Though you've got the Zofia in the right position, lacking any explosives, however, and she'll go down. Though Zofia being the only operator who can pick herself up, she should be able to quickly revive. Though K9 with another kill. Cyclone down. The Baistro, however, instantly taken out himself, and questionable that Boyjohn still has not picked himself up. The Nomad will go down. Supa and a Nitro Cell. Looks like Boyjohn is finally withstanded. The Nitro Cell will be impactless as it leaps over the counter. And it's a Valkyrie cam very late in the round. Unfortunately, though, you'll remember that castle barricade is still in place, and this is going to be very difficult. It's going to have to force through the Habana holes, and it's an easy pre-fire, but the Valkyrie loses it. The IQ of Prodigy on the double kill. The diffuser far out of reach. Can they pick it up in time? They can. But Pete will deny it. All he needs to do now is rotate over, deny the plant. It's triple zeros. Prodigy will be forced to get off of it. The pre-fire and the Pete, he gets it. Oh, it was so close there. Prodigy nearly getting the clutch in the triple kill, though ultimately Pete steady in the nerves and in the guns. Hawkeye will end the first half at 3-3.
That was so insanely close there. The last second plant, and the timing was perfect for Prodigy to get the miracle clutch on that round too, literally getting off the diffuser like 0.5 seconds before Pete comes around the corner. But even though he's got the worst gun in the game, as a champion once said, he still manages to pick up that kill against the IQ, who had been hitting great shots. I cannot believe that Prodigy won that gunfight there against the Valkyrie. That was quite a great shot, and that allowed that round to go at least a little bit longer and potentially go in the way of Bradley. But in the end, a nice clutch up from Pete is going to win them that round and bring the half to a perfect 3-3.
A Ninja defused in a 1v2 post-plant clutch in those last two rounds will carry Hawkeye to an even split. And this is, I would say, a bit worrying. I don't know how much you could discount the fact that those clutches were a thing to worry about as far as the storyline for the rest of this map. It being the Braves' map pick is a bit of an issue. I mean, starting off, you would expect to be pretty dominant here for Coastline, and Bradley Braves have had a couple of really bright showings, especially Worst Player, who has been in, I think, every single opening engagement, either, getting the kill or dying himself, except for round number 5. He's been putting in the effort. He doesn't have really any hesitation. He will gun you no matter what, or at least make his best attempt to. But ultimately, Hawkeye will end this even, and I think important to look at the fact that we'll see Bradley on defense, and I'm wondering, what this is going to mean as far as their setups. Are they going to try to leverage some of that same aggression, maybe get a couple of runouts, try and shut down Hawkeye early as far as they go for the execute? Definitely a couple things to look out for. We'll be heading, though, first to Kitchen and Service. So far, Hook and Kitchen, the only bomb sites these two teams are choosing to play.
Yeah, interesting that they go to Kitchen Service first. I'm wondering if they're trying to, maybe leverage their top fragger here, Worst Player, playing the Vigil. They're trying to leverage that gunfighting skill and ability. And K9's going to get really aggressive here on this double window on the reverse repel, but Worst Player has already dropped. That was fast, still more than 2 minutes left in the round, and upstairs control worryingly given away quite quickly. Worst Player not even willing to attempt to take a potential gunfight. However, Hawkeye do appear to be waffling a little bit there and taking that upstairs floor. They still haven't taken it. They're still working on droning. They have the door in Hookah open. They have the hatch open to the bathroom, but nobody from Hawkeye has entered the building yet. Now they send an Iana drone, so they've kind of pseudo-entered the building, still not risking any life. So this is taking quite a long time from Hawkeye. to enter this building, which is kind of worrying considering they had upstairs control at 2:15 on the timer, and they entered the building with just over a minute 30 left in the round. That was a lot of time wasted by a player who wasn't even there. And they're going to use another Gemini replicator to clear out parts of the map that don't particularly matter. There could be a player over there, but if you take the spots you need and have K9 do what he's doing now and just watch your angles, like what the Sledge is doing there, Atlas, then you'll be fine. But they're wasting a whole lot of time looking for worst player who isn't even on the same floor as them right now.
I wonder if this is maybe due in part that worst player is activating his gadget to make it seem like he could be lurking somewhere inside of theater or out in 90, which is forcing them to play this a bit cautious. Something to think about. Worst player has a very easy task here in removing the X-Kairos, and so they won't be able to access that angle. It's honestly a huge misplay how much time has been wasted, especially with, you know, they move fast. Worst player immediately gave it up. He didn't even try to go for a pick. He didn't get aggressive. No, he just dropped the hatch, and they should have seen that, capitalized on it, but the fact that Vigil has, you know, the wonderful ability to not be seen on drones, I think has maybe had more of an effect than you might see just looking at this blatantly. Oh no! The Vigil doesn't get taken out, or actually will be able to get the kill himself. Though caught off guard, the Zofia coming up from the back. A 2-on-2, a flurry of kills here. Pete, 2 himself on the Zofia. Shot in the back, I believe from Courtyard. He'll begin the plant. This is the perfect opportunity to cut off the rotate, but no, the Maestro coming in. What are you looking at, Ivana trying to break the barbed wire? It's the easiest kill of Supa's life as the Braves take their first defensive victory.
I feel bad for laughing, but that round was really, really strange. I really don't know what was going on there. That was I had so much to say, and now I'm just speechless. Oh yeah, the one thing I wanted to say, the big difference here on that defense between Bradley and Hawkeye is, as far as I could tell, unless it was super duper late into the round, I don't think it was. I think these were all on the first floor. Nobody got killed through the floor. Nobody got killed through those vertical angles from Bradley there on the defensive kitchen service. They all managed to avoid it somehow and stay alive until the last few seconds when the 20-second meta allowed Pete and friends to get a few kills there, pick up 3 kills. So yeah, but that should not have gone as soundly towards Bradley as it did, and just really unfortunate timing from the Hibana there. You know, I mean, I get that there's barbed wire there and you might want to have a better angle, but your teammate has no health and is in the process of planting the diffuser. You really have to watch, and it was almost just comical that the moment Hibana looked away to break the barbed wire, 2 defenders showed up and took a surprisingly long amount of time considering how much health Pete had to stop him from planting the diffuser. So much so that if Rogue was really fast, he could have actually lined up 2 like spray transfer headshots. That was really something.
Well, Bradley Braves starting us off. They win. Now we head over to Hookah. Definitely, in my opinion, the stronger of the 2 bomb sites, so I wonder what effect it'll have. What's going on with Bradley? They're all kind of huddled up, and alright, well, regardless of that, we've got the Mozzie, which is, I don't think we've seen him so far. The Mute Mozzie combo, definitely something to worry about. Not all too effective here for Coastline, which usually intel kind of an afterthought. Though in the last round, it seemed like it was the only thought for Hawkeye, which is definitely, I feel like Hawkeye, they've got the chops to win some of these rounds. I want to say it was round number 2 on Hookah. That was a great defensive victory. But a lot of their rounds came off the back of clutches. They've looked shaky. We're seeing weird mistakes that shouldn't be happening, especially in that last round. You need to be getting a couple of kills off of the vertical angles, and if you're not getting kills off the ones you made, open up a couple more. And if that doesn't work, continue to hold the pressure from above. Don't lose a bunch of gunfights forcing all 5 players to go downstairs. Try to be a bit dynamic.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a really close gunfight there, like pseudo gunfight between Boyjon and K9, almost taking off each other's heads there. But once again, the attack kind of slow here from Hawkeye. This time the attack is from Hawkeye, kind of slow as it was last time. K9 spending a lot of time here at the bottom of Cool Vibes. And it's already been given up by Boyjon. In the meantime, Cyclone is going to pick up an SMG-11 kill. Nice headshot onto Pete. That's the Zofia. Not exactly wanting to lose a fragger with just over a minute left. You're going to need those fraggers for the 20-second meta push. Fail flash from K9 up through the hatch. And that's going to give away his position and lose a little bit of utility. Meanwhile, Prodigy and Boyjon sitting quite nice there in luggage and Aquabar. K9 is stuck now on the Cool Vibe stairs due to a smoke, and it looks like Cyclone maybe wants some more. No, he's going to turn his back and look the other way. Looking out the window, he does see the Gemini replicator, I believe. And I'm sure that's going to... K9 is going to be waiting for the call there to push up. He could potentially get a headshot. He sees the head of Cyclone, but he's unable to see it properly. Worst player does pick a kill on Atlas. Rogue gets the immediate refrag. Cyclone will take out Wagons, and it's all on K9 and Rogue now. Supa will get taken out by Rogue. K9 is going to brave the smoke and push up. He's going to get taken out by the SMG-11. Absolutely going crazy as Cyclone. Boyjon is going to pick up the final kill, taking out Rogue with his back turned, and that's going to be another round for Bradley Yu. Cyclone going crazy with the SMG-11 there inside of Hookah. You know, I'm like, when I play Doc in Hookah, I'm personally afraid to just lay down and try to hide or get on camera. So there's so many places you can get shot from. And it looks like he's entirely in his element there, just running around with all the open doors and windows and holes, and he does not care. He picks up 3 kills, I believe, from inside Hookah, if not 4. No, he picked up 3.
Kind of a missed opportunity. I feel like that was Cyclone being reckless and K9 not... I don't want to say he wasn't in a position to capitalize on it, because he was. You could see the smoke in his very bright NAL uniform, but the buck was pretty shaky. I mean, he was worried about someone wide swinging him ostensibly from the billiards bar. But you should, I mean, what else are you going to be looking at? Not downstairs. Nobody's going to flank you when you're sitting on Cool Vibes. And considering Cyclone's recklessness, it didn't seem like they even knew that the buck was there. And ultimately, he doesn't get a kill anyway. A smoke canister, once they do finally realize he is there, will force him down and then into a position where he can't support the rest of his team in going for a multi-sided push.
Yeah, no, it's like, I honestly think that the play there, I mean, you're 4-3, you've got to do something to make it work, you know, to swing this back and forth action in your favor now, and now it's swung far away from you, the favor has, but you got to really do something, like a little brave, ironically enough, and that would have been using the intel from that Iona Gemini replicator, saying, oh, the smoke's there, and the smoke's a little preoccupied. The SMG-11 is his primary, I mean, not his primary weapon, but his weapon of choice. He doesn't have a whole lot of ammo. He's going to shoot a little bit to take out that Gemini replicator, peek now, and just take his head off before he even has a chance to respond or enough bullets to respond. That would have been the right play, I feel like. And then you would have had Hookah because he was the only one there. And you're right, it was extremely reckless. A long angle here that Atlas could easily just hold. You know, he would have the jump on anybody walking past that angle. If I were Atlas, I would hold that angle a lot until we need to move forward. That seems like a little weird that they would allow that angle to be held there, or allow that angle to even be open there. But I guess we'll have to see how that works out for Bradley. Didn't even realize that, yeah, now since they've won 2 defenses in a row, we're moving on to the 3rd site, and it looks like Hawkeye has a decent idea of what to do here. There's no denial on that wall, as there is no denial operators there, and they just have right behind the bar open, and there's no holes in the wall into the courtyard there. This is literally the freest real estate that Hawkeye has seen all match. No matter any clutches or anything, this is like literally the freest thing that Hawkeye can do, and they're slow right now. They're circling around to the other side. The smoke, oh, you need to clear out those ADSs, though, if you want to smoke it out. He's got another smoke, I'm sure. Rogue is literally right there. Flash goes through, so there shouldn't be any more ADS. Supa's on the rotate hole, but there's no angle to hold here. I don't know what's taking them so long. They've got it now.
Yeah, I'm just as confused as you are. There's no protection from courtyard, so denying this will be physically impossible, barring a nitro cell, and there's only one possibility in worst player. Jaeger dropping down, though, could come up through office to catch a couple of these players off guard, though the IQ is ready and waiting. 5-5-2 to win that gunfight. The worst player will be able to drop down the hatch and find two. He'll spot the Jackal up close and personal. The C7E will rattle on through to get Wagons a double kill. And now Prodigy will be forced to find the rotate. A 2-on-2, only 20 seconds left, made a lot easier for Hawkeye. The perfect post plant. Rogue on the ash to find two, as Hawkeye are not done just yet. A major, huge oversight. There's no vertical play, so you can't deny it from the rooftop. There's nobody anchoring inside office. There's no footholds to deny it from courtyard. I am lost for words as to the ignorance of that defense on bars.
I am so utterly confused. Yeah. So let's break that down real quick. They had no wall denial, no vertical play, no courtyard play, one nitro that was thrown out early and only did a lot of damage to one of the attackers, and they had a rook as well.
And no Mira.
And no Mira. That was read perfectly by Hawkeye. That was the best we've seen them on their attack so far, and they almost threw it by not taking it very fast, and like that was very concerning because they had it open. Maybe they were just as confused as we are as to why that was so free, and maybe they thought it was a trap, but no, that was completely open. Like, that was, compared to the stuff we've seen from Bradley so far, that was, like, it seemed like it was an entirely different team's strategy there. That one that had, never attempted to defend Blue Bar Sunrise. It was all for the Sunrise take, nothing for the Blue Bar take.
I have to agree with you. I mean, it's so uncharacteristic of Bradley, who have come through in multiple of these rounds, and frankly, all of them but that one, with at least somewhat of a solid plan and a normal strategy, either that being a top floor roam. Yes, we've seen them be a bit conservative. Sometimes they tend to fall back, but being conservative is not leaving the wall opening courtyard so you can deny the plan. No, it's opening it up. Nobody's going to go into courtyard, drop blacktop, and prone through the wall. That I would be very shocked to see that happen. So choosing not to open it is criminal, almost, in their defense. And I'm just gonna sit here and I'm gonna act like I didn't see that round as it just happened and put it in the past. Fortunately, the Rogue will go down early. Prodigy himself down, however. Atlas on the refrag, and bit of momentum starting to build for HCC.
Wow, a great help there on Rogue. I'm stumbling for words. I just realized that Rogue did not die to Prodigy there. That actually the refrag came in. The technical refrag came in, and Rogue was able to be picked back up. That is huge. I thought for sure, they're gonna lose your Ash player that early on, and it's gonna be Rogue. But Atlas was able to come in there and help out a lot. I cannot believe Prodigy did not get that kill. That is huge for Hawkeye to have, even though Rogue is low, to have taken out the Mozzie Roamer and still have all 5 of your players. However, I am questioning the fact that they have a Glass. Worst player will take out Atlas, and Wagons will get the immediate refrag onto Supa at the same time. So the advantage still in favor of Hawkeye. Still wondering what kind of impact this Glass is going to have for the attack. So I guess we'll just have to see.
Indeed we will. The reverse play from the Glass, you don't get to see this all too often. HCC have a strong advantage, but the problem is they seem, again, to be kind of hesitant. They're not pushing up, they're not pressing the advantage, and especially considering we've got players off-site, it's not a full stack anchored. It seems the plan is to smoke plant on service. A pre-fire through smoke, we've seen it happen before, could be a dangerous prospect, but it'll actually be the Evil Eye to tag up Wagons. A bit too late, however, as Maestro himself dies inside. An aggressive play by Pete will garner that kill, and the Glass on the reverse repel, you got to be worrying about that. It looks like he'll repel up to watch the run out from Worst Player. Charging on out, he'll actually get that shot. Insane from Worst Player, a triple kill. This round might just be possible after all. They need to get the duo play over here in order to shut this down. They're really playing this conservatively, and now the pre-fire from worst player. It seems the round will be over unless you can see some heroics, and in fact it will be. The Braves continue to take their defensive rounds, except for that one hiccup.
Yeah. Now that they're back in, kitchen service, they seem to be a little back in their element. That was the Glass actually did come out to a better effect than I thought, but missing the shots on worst player running out on you really puts a damper on your post plant plans. Especially since you've already got the plant down, you don't particularly need to hold that close anymore. And the Jaeger just sticking it there at the end is he had the cover. He did. I mean, worst player didn't even need to like hold an angle or anything. Just had to keep pre-firing to keep the Jackal away, as the Jaeger was already there and sticking it. Never got off of it, and that's how you do it. That's how you take the retake, I guess. That's all I gotta say about that.
Odd that you would see the Glass choose to hold the close angle, considering the fact that he has a sniper rifle.
Yeah, I mean, it made sense early on to like get the initial take, especially with the smokes. You're gonna use the smokes to plant anyways to get a fast plant off. You might as well use the Glass to see through the smoke and cover, because they're not gonna be able to see the planter. They're just gonna be pre-firing with the obvious place they think the planter is going to be. But yeah, after the plant, I don't think Glass should have been playing that close, because the Glass even knew that the run out from worst player was happening on the front door. He was ready for it. He's like, you know what? Now they know I'm playing Glass, I'm on reverse repel, I'm probably gonna get run out on, and he was right, and he still couldn't pick up the kill. So he probably should have gotten off the rappel on the ground and went somewhere else.
Can we go to the expanded view? Because I think worst player is on something like 16 kills. He really is having quite the game. There we go. 16-7.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I don't have the record for CR6, but 16 kills for our first map is definitely a bit of a trendsetter. And he looks to maybe get another one, playing aggressive here on the Guitar's doorway. He'll have to do a bit of legwork, though ultimately he'll decide to play it a bit close to the vest and not choose to do that aggressive run out, which is, I would say, the smart decision. You do not want to give Hawkeye the leg up, especially when they've proven to not really sell the advantage too much in the rounds that we've seen them so far on offense. A bit of a change, we'll see both of the flank denial operators in the Gridlock and Nomad, which I don't think it's been mostly either or so far. Bigger focus on the Nomad, who is one of the primary impact operators for Coastline, either being played extensively or banned out.
Whoa, they gave up control of Aqua fast. K9 will get the opening pick there on the Cyclone, and worst player now sees that the Hibana, Pete, is in. He's gonna get air jab back right out of Pete's bullets. Actually, not gonna take any damage. That might have been a godsend rather than a detriment. And the pre-fire, wow, what a great pre-fire headshot from Pete, taking off worst player's head. Rogue's gonna attack on with the kill on the Supa. Really, really curious they gave up Aqua control so fast, and now it's just Boy Johns and Prodigy as Hawkeye try to prevent this match point from becoming the match in general. I was very curious as to why they had two roam denial operators. The roam usually isn't too strong on this site. Atlas is going to take out Prodigy, but now it all makes sense. If they were able to take the site, which was going to be a tough ask, but they've done it. Now the remaining defender, Boyjon, completely locked out of sight. The impacts are going to come out too late if he even throws them, and he does not. There's not really anything Boyjon can do. It's literally going to have to be a post-plant ace clutch defuse to win the round with less than 35 seconds on the timer, and he's going to get taken out by Atlas. A flawless round for Hawkeye to keep themselves in it, and they're one round away from taking us to overtime on map 1.
Well, talk about not selling the advantage there. I was a little worried once I saw Ash get on the hookah window repelled, but ultimately not the same set of circumstances which we saw that Ninja Defuse go down in just a few rounds prior. A return to hookah, so Bradley are not too keen to give it up just yet. They'll reattempt it and try to maybe change a couple things up. The lineup seems to be relatively the same, and the Tachanka coming through will be the obvious 6 pick unless we've got some kind of 400 IQ strategy from Boyjon, which will rely on the Tachanka. Nope, onto the Rook. So choosing to play.
No way.
Yeah, there's no way unless. Not on 6-5. No. Well, this has been admittedly a bit of a closer game than I might have expected. Bradley, their map
Attackers
pick
need to
has
locate and
been,
defuse bombs.
in some rounds, it looks like their map. In other rounds, it looks like they don't know what they're doing. In other rounds, it looks like Hawkeye are just, they have a four-leaf clover. It's really a match with everything in it, as far as you might want. I mean, we've seen ninja diffuses, flawless rounds, clutches, I mean, wall bang, glass repels. It's got everything you could ask for.
Yeah. Also, I just realized I got angry at the summer league wasn't nearly as you know as serious as the other two main season leagues, but I got really angry when I saw that somebody
5
was
seconds
consistently
remaining.
playing Rook in one of the games that I cast there, and now we see for
Attackers
Bradley, I
objective is
believe.
to defuse
Yeah,
bombs.
Bradley has played Rook twice now. Once on the
Attackers
Sunrise
dropped the diffuser.
blue bar hold, and
Attackers
now
have
once
recovered the
here on
area.
the second floor hold. And it's like there is no reason that you would play. I mean, now there's actually a little more of a reason that you'd play Rook over Doc, but there is not really any reason you play Rook over Doc utility wise. Now he has the 2 times, which he is using, but the 1.5 is clean and works really well with the MP5. So I still think that Doc is the stronger choice, especially if you're good at aiming. You won't really need the 2. The 1.5 will work just fine, but once again, the Rook has been brought for Bradley, and on
Located a bomb.
6-5, I'm gonna need to see some really convincing gameplay from Boy John to make it seem like that was worth it for the utility waste.
Well, we saw some good things from Rogue on the Rook earlier, so maybe Boyjon is trying to channel a little bit of that. And this will be the ADS is cleared. There actually isn't any ADSs. We'll talk about MP5s, though it's the MP5K to get that kill and shutting down Rogue. Your Ash dying early. That's definitely an important entry kill, mattering a lot here for the match point round. This might just have been the difference maker for Bradley taking it. And I'm hoping that they come into this with a solid plan. Really no elements of the 9th round bar defense, and coming into this with a clear idea. The breaching charge, though, shot off the window. A questionable decision, which this game has more than a few of.
Yeah, so losing Rogue, your top fragger and Ash player, with less than 2 minutes left, not great. Now unlike Bradley, who has really only had worse players showing up a lot, the only one with double digits, Pete, despite playing the Hibana, does also have double-digit kills. So he's going to have to be the difference maker here. And he's really going to have to be the difference maker here after that. K9 whiffs all the F2 shots, and wow, just a great read by worst player. The Sound Cues takes out Atlas, Supa takes out Pete, the other double-digit fragger, and it's all on Wagons, who unfortunately for Wagons has not had the best performance tonight, and he's got four full health and one very low defender to get through here. The window's being open there, and Lug is just going to be worst player. He's got himself quite a hill to climb, taking shots. Wagons not taking any damage. Worst player taking a little bit of damage, but it doesn't really matter. Even if he goes down and Boy John goes down, there's still 3 more defenders left. Wagons has absolutely no idea what to do. 20 seconds left. Match point. He's the only attacker left. I think this might just be it. I think the writing is on the wall. Stick. This is going to be map 1 for Bradley Braves, and there it is. Supa confirms it. A flawless round to end things. Bradley Braves are going to win their map pick of Coastline 7-5.
Well, a flawless round from Bradley to answer back what we saw in the previous round, which was Red Tails finding their own flawless, and they take it 7-5. This is definitely a VOD that Bradley probably want to tuck away deep in the vault as far as some of what we saw. And I'm hoping that we have a bit different as far as our second map, which I think probably will maybe play out a bit more in the favor of HCC, being that we'll be heading to Clubhouse, though not before a short break. So stick with us while we get everything ready, and we'll be good to go for the second map of our second series. All right, everybody. Welcome back. We've got another map ahead of us. Clubhouse the second for our second series tonight in the Collegiate R6 Season 5, Week 3. As you just saw, Coastline ended a 7-5 going the way of Bradley University. And it was definitely pretty back and forth, maybe a bit closer than Bradley had hoped. But I imagine Clubhouse probably going to play out a bit differently. And as both teams are ready, we'll be heading hot and into the action for our second map of this series. Really excited to get into this. Poseidon, what are your opening thoughts?
So, Bradley was looking pretty good for the most part on Coastline. Now, I have to imagine that, Hawkeye will look just about as good on the defense. I'm sorry, their play on Clubhouse here. So I'm assuming it'll be like the same but reverse. Like Hawkeye will have the upper hand here, and Bradley will be trailing them, kind of like how Hawkeye was trailing them on Coastline. Now, because Clubhouse, however, is a way different map from Coastline. Like, I'm talking way different, like the way it plays and everything like that. It's just like it's more strats than anything, so it's going to be completely different shakeup for a team that's more frag heavy. And wow, what are these bans we are looking at? Thatcher is the usual one, Monte not completely unseen, but Vigil on the defense. They really that was Hawkeye that banned. They really did not like it when worst player was playing that Vigil, and Vigil can be strong here on Clubhouse as well. So wow, that they must have really felt that Vigil from worst player breathing down their neck. And the last ban from Bradley is going to be the Malusi. So we do get to see Ace this time around, potentially. And if Ace is on the table, I can't imagine that Ace won't be played.
Vigil, a target ban, yes, but I think definitely a well-reasoned one. You saw how slow Red Tails had to play in that first map. They were constantly worrying about droning things out. And worst player, he was on multiple different floors. He was causing really a huge disturbance. They were never really confident in droning him out, which I think should give them a bit more of an upper hand, especially considering the fact that Hawkeye will be beginning Clubhouse on the offensives, which is, you're going to want to get off to a good start here for Clubhouse, it being Hawkeye's map pick, but also with consideration to the fact that we are up 1-0, and Hawkeye are immediately starting this off, and will be through the whole map practically on the back foot. Interesting to see the 6th pick from the Ash over to the Zofia, maybe deciding to have those stuns more useful, and I could see why. You're going to need to deny the wall trick, though we have the Cade, so it won't be too much of a focus. Interesting that the Cade and the Electroclaws will stick around with the Thatcher banned out, which is usually a combo as far as bans go that like to stick together.
Yeah, I'm already seeing things here that I don't like. First of all, Thatcher ban, no breach denial ban. They did bring the Rook. They traded the Ash out for the Zofia, which is fine. Maybe Rogue is feeling the Zofia more, but they didn't bring Ace, and they brought a Twitch. And these late reinforcements as well from Bradley could potentially get both of these players killed if anyone spawned at the front, but I don't think... Wait, they're not even going to reinforce that second one. Is there going to leave Prodigy to do that? And I just realized that different people have played Rook. Yeah, they are. Different people have played Rook every single time, and they're not taking advantage of the fact that the Rook was there. They almost took out the Rook right there. We're already off to a little bit of a rocky start. I'm not
how
liking
did she get up the stairs? This is poor drone work at best for Hawkeye, and a major miscalculation. Bradley making a very risky, questionable, poor decision, and ultimately will get away with it. And that is not something I'm too particularly excited about. The wall getting opened up. Very quick Maverick trick. This is something to have on Hawkeye's side, and it should make attacking this bomb site just that much easier. I wonder how they're going to go about clearing the Rook out of garage rafters, though. Definitely a difficult task. Usually you'll see a bit more pressure put onto the garage itself, which is weird that we don't see that, considering I think this is a full stack CCTV tape. Supa will instantly take out Rogue. The Zofia attempting to rappel up to the top of that balcony will be short-lived, but a bit of a rotate. Seems that they're trying to apply at least some pressure over towards the master bedroom as well as below. A nade cooked. Will it find its mark? Looks like no. There's actually nobody waiting there, and just an opportunity for K9 to get a bit of vertical play.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, the one thing that seems to be going really well for Hawkeye was how fast K9 was able to that was perfect Maverick trick there, perfectly getting that wall open in record time. But then Rogue wasting both impacts on opening a hole in the wall there. Wow, what a shot from worst player. The read through the wall, the shots coming his way, taking the head off of Atlas, and that's gonna be the sledge down. 2 entry fragging operators dealt with. But yeah, great Maverick trick. But look, the whole, they used 2 impacts when you really only needed 1. And then Rogue got taken out by Cade of all operators swinging. Boy John's going to take out K9. And now it's all on Wagons and Pete. Pete is playing the Thermite, so it's going to be a little hard to do too much. You know, the gun, the AR 5.56 is decent, but definitely not as good as the F2 in the hands of Wagons. Where is Wagons? Wagons is still outside the breach. I believe Wagons was playing on drones the whole time, decided to get off right at the 30-second mark. And it's a split push, 1 on one side, 1 on the other side versus 5 defenders, Wagons and Pete. And I can't imagine that they can really accomplish much here.
This is not a round going for HCC, barring some kind of miracle. The Thermite has to push in through the double door. There's so many players to worry about, and yeah, a huge miscalculation there from Hawkeye, and I have to call it out because they were so hesitant. The Zofia died trying to peek through from the main breach, and another player took that same position and ultimately got really nothing from it. A couple of impactless frags, yeah, but in the end game, they still lost the round. You said you don't like what you're seeing. I certainly don't like what I'm seeing either. No pressure put onto Garage at all, which only had 1 player. If you had simply brought a Capital, who I remind you was on the board, seeing as we have the Thatcher Monty bans, it should have been an easy clear. And considering that I don't think there was a Wamai in that last round either from Bradley, that should have been an easy and very swift take, pushing through from Garage, taking Rafters. In that round, I honestly don't think they needed to put any pressure on construction, because ultimately, what did they get out of it? They didn't get open the construction wall. They didn't get really anything done by pushing in through the the single doorway into cash. Ultimately, they suffered a lot and got practically nothing. We need to see a major shakeup, and honestly, I'm kind of dreading returning to that bomb site. Attacking basement, I feel like it's more kind of well understood what you need to do. There's a few different types of takes you would go for. I would say the most common in the collegiate scene is probably opening up kitchen, opening up moto, and going for a church wall take, though that is a bit of an old strategy. Something you would see more often kind of in the T4, T3 levels is a split push between blue and armory hatch. Usually that just seems to be more prevalent because you can defend against Moto if you have a position as a defender inside of blue. You can also peek aggressively towards dirt doorway, which is another opportunity for a take. Ultimately, though, you have to invest so much utility in taking dirt that it doesn't really favor too many teams.
Yeah, I guess we're just gonna, I mean, honestly, some of these defenses and attacks have just been really strange, and I honestly learned like about halfway through the coastline map, I kind of don't know what to expect from either of these teams. And like, you're right, they definitely, last round, they definitely should have pushed the garage. I personally think that despite Rook getting it 2 times, which is great, it gives them a little advantage over Doc there. It's way too close quarters in garage, I think, for the 2 times to be better than the 1.5. And I mean, there's a high chance that he could miss shots with the 2.5. I mean, sorry, the 2 times if he gets too close. And you know, they just didn't challenge that at all. The push into construction would have been better had they had more players, but Twitch was still stuck on the other side. Now they did manage to get into kitchen, but there are a couple of nitros on the defender's side, and it looks like both are, no, sorry, one of those nitro cell operators is primed and ready to go. Nitro cell ripped, waiting for somebody. Although if this is poorly placed, that's going to take out that Cade Electroclaw. There's the thermite right there. The nitro cell goes out. It does connect with the thermite.
And it gets the Electroclaw
charge. And it does remove the Electroclaw, as I suspected. Now that's going to be available for the taking, and I don't think the nitro cell or anything will kill the exothermic charge this time around, but he doesn't seem to be going for it. He's a little afraid of it. I don't know if he's got to have another one left unless he got Moto already. Maybe wanting the Hibana to come get it instead. So things going a little slowly.
That seems like the right idea.
Yeah.
Just get the Hibana to come over. Yeah, the nitro cell, risky. Yes, I know it's important. You're gonna try to get a kill onto Thermite. That would be very beneficial. But ultimately, you kind of need to worry about that Electroclaw, and it is a major misplay. And now, regardless of the fact that that first exothermic charge was broken, the hatch is opened up, and I don't know what just happened to Boy John there. He got the business end of the F2 and right into his head. An aggressive push by K9, and now it seems like we're heading straight towards a flawless round for Hawkeye. In this game, it just goes back and forth. It seems like the defense, they make the questionable decisions. The attack, they do the same, and a great shot nonetheless by Prodigy, though quickly shut down by the Twitch at the end of the hallway. And this game is back and forth, and the defense, this just defies all analysis because the round could go either way. You could see the armory hatch completely capitulated by the defense, who why wouldn't you just shoot the exothermic through the floor? It's soft floor, you can shoot it. And you know, seeing that the exothermic starts to go off, you probably have a better chance just shooting up and through the floor rather than spending all that time to toss a nitro cell up. You're gonna get the kill anyway, so why not? This is really frustrating so far. I will try to step back and take a more analytical look at it. Heading to Gym Bedroom, the tertiary bomb site. Definitely not wanting to repeat the basement after getting, frankly, swamped. That first attempt just did not work out for them. Ultimately, control of Moto and Church was their undoing.
Yeah, I think the whole strategy there from Prodigy was to try and get the kill. I think he shut it off right as the exothermic charge was going off. I don't think he tried to use it to get the kill, or I mean to kill the exothermic charge, but really poor timing and really poor placement too. I mean, you know the Electroclaw is there. The Electroclaw is on, you know, the far side of the hatch, which means angular wise, you know, like, you know, if you draw like a right triangle to it, it is going to be in the cone of damage of the nitro cell. So you got to keep that in mind when playing like that. Prodigy did make up for it a little bit by getting an impactless frag, preventing Hawkeye from having a flawless round there, but that was a really great take from Hawkeye on the basement there. It was helped by Bradley a little bit, but whoa! Wow, that was really, really too close for comfort, especially for worst player to be the one doing that. Literally every single gun on Hawkeye just laid down fire on that wall. That was like, he had to have really been feeling the pressure there. That was insane.
Nice drone spot there up on the rafters, and doesn't seem like anybody really playing inside. Is this
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no, he missed it.
Oh, and he dies too! No! That is just the most unfortunate of circumstances. Where was that angle from? I'm so confused. How did Hibana...
Where is the Hibana?
Where is the Hibana? Is she up on the roof? Okay, so
wow,
that was
what
a wall bang through the barricade. Window. Incredible from K9 to kill worst player, and I want to hope that was a comm, but it feels like just wow. There he is. Yeah, he died on a pre-fire through the window. Yeah, because there was just... Okay. Well, worst player is dead. An unsuccessful bullet hole and a wall bang performed expertly by K9 will be his demise. And now Bradley sit at the disadvantage. They're at a 4-5, and they will need to play this a bit more cautiously. Trying to get the angle there through the window. Supa trying his best to thread the needle. Ooh, the pre-fire, they're coming in from construction. You gotta worry about the window though, Supa. You can't play in that position and turn your back to the... He knew he was there and he turned his back to the window. 2 + 2 = you're done. I mean, okay.
Prodigy's ripping that nitro again. He's getting ready. He's gonna take round 2. K9's hopping in though, inside the site. This could be very bad for Prodigy. In goes Pete as well. And Prodigy's going to be unseen the whole time. Just kidding. Pete's going to go back for seconds. He's going to take out Prodigy as he's laying down, not even looking the right way. Cyclone on the other side of the castle barricade. Nothing can be done, though. Pete's going to get the plant down. Boyjohn's going to take out Rogue. And Wagons does manage to finish off Cyclone. Boyjon just above half health with 4 more people to get through. And considering he took out the first one, this is going to be another one of those post-plant ace clutch defuse situations for the 2/3 health UMP wielding Boyjon. I don't think this is looking good. I assume you would agree.
Yeah, not the most promising round here for Boyjon, especially considering the low time on the diffuser and Wagons just waiting. Definitely getting a bit warmed up there for the crouch key. It was really simple. You pull the lever, you take out the castle, trying to rotate. He really tries to go for the full marathon all the way around the map. Hawkeye taking the lead, not in the way that I would expect, though I don't think you can apply that label really to anything that has gone on so far. And I wanna say so many things because there's a ton of issues that you can identify, but I don't know if you can blame them, because when you're playing at this level, you need to be doing the basics, and it feels like the basics aren't happening sometimes. They'll pull out some of these more intricate strategies, things you might have picked up from watching a Pro League game, like a very quick, admittedly expertly done Maverick trick, but you're missing some of the more basic concepts, like a flank watch, like, you know, a diffuser denial. There's some certain things that should be happening that simply aren't.
Yeah, I don't know, like it just, like, maybe they weren't too confident on Clubhouse, but they probably should have banned Clubhouse over something else then if that was the case. These Clubhouse defense strategies and just defense plays are not seeming up to the same level as they were on Coastline. Once again, Prodigy has brought the Rook for the garage hold here. You know, I think that the garage rafters hold, it's been on for a while. You know, people know about it. It's a little more easily defeated. And as you stated before, Wagons now has brought the Capitao. So the Capitao is here. Prodigy's half health and on the first floor, not up in the rafters. Already
Did they try that
off to
again?
A bad start for Bradley. I don't know, but now Prodigy he's gonna have to circle around, and he's lost his health. And I bet he's really wishing he was Doc.
No way, the garage wall is soft. If that doesn't get open instantly, I don't know who to blame, Bradley or Hawkeye, because it's soft.
Oh my god, it's soft. On the north side.
What's Pete going on?
Oh man.
No way, Pete. Well, I mean, I do see some merit in that. Obviously, you can get the angle on the window to deny the rotate, but Prodigy, I don't think Prodigy even left the garage last time we saw this. A Maverick trick done expertly. Unfortunately, K9 will die, so he.
Oh no!
Did that get ADS?
No,
How?
it didn't get ADS. The way the Cade works is even if the hard wall gets destroyed, it's still electrified, and it will destroy the ash charge when it touches the wall. So Rogue loses an ash
Better get the
charge
sledge up there.
Yeah, the sledge is going to need to move his way on over and get close and personal with that electrified wall. Same thing happens if there's a hole in the wall and it's still electrified. I'm pretty sure you take damage going through it. Nope, the sledge is going to go into construction. Into logistics.
The point stands.
Please take this from me. I can't talk about this anymore. I don't like what I'm seeing.
I don't think they really like what's going on here either. Worst player holding very aggressively. Oh no, Atlas gets the headshot. But that one in the highlight reel as he shuts down worst player. The Jaeger, unfortunately, trying his best to win that gunfight, dealing a ton of damage onto Atlas, but ultimately not getting the kill. And the status of the wall, I believe, remains soft, so that is one crucial entry point that they lack. It seems with 54 seconds, they're droning out the garage. Wagons will rotate. They brought the castle, much to my advice. Ultimately, though, I don't think they've really leveraged him being on the board all too much. The Rook is, yeah, the Capitao. Sorry about that, but Prodigy just holding close here and ultimately will land his shots. Atlas already on low health in that earlier engagement with Worst Player. Will go down. They'll have to pick him up here, but Rogue is unfortunately going to flash his teammate, so it doesn't have much of an effect on him or the enemies. And Atlas he's gone,
remaining.
dead. No more Saving Private Ryan for them, and Thermite is in top red. They'll get Boy John. A Nitro Cell, I believe, gets electrified.
5 seconds left.
Not sure just exactly the status of what happened there. Pete down as well, and Cyclone from top red will get Rogue. There is no one taking the lead. We're back, tied up from... Can we, like, roll back the clock? I like Coastline a lot more than this. Even if we had the bar round, at least we didn't have the Ash losing an Electric Claw for the Sledge to rotate and die in construction without getting open the wall.
This is just right now, at least in the early round, you know, the first half of this map, this is just a really ugly slugfest right now. Like, nothing is going right for either team at all in terms of their utility. Nothing, absolutely nothing is going right through any of these rounds. They are just battling it back and forth. People are winning and losing gunfights they have no business winning and losing. Utility is going wrong left and right. This is just... I actually have no idea what's going on because I have never seen anything like this before. Or not in a while.
The last time I casted a game like this was when I was starting out on PS4. I think I have one that sort of reminds me of this, at least somewhat. But I'm really hoping that this doesn't go to Theme Park, because I feel like playing a newer map probably doesn't make any of these rookie mistakes easier. At least for Clubhouse, you know, it's been around for a long time. There's plenty of opportunities for, you know, all of these players to have, you know, sat down, maybe watched a couple of Pro League games, and they have kind of an idea of how to attack it. Though, I guess you could say the same thing for Coastline. It being a very common ranked map, though, I think does give you a bit of leniency, as well as in just specifically the way that you can play it. You don't need to come into it with, you know, the most well thought out strategies, and I think you brought up that point as well.
Yeah, Coastline is a lot more of a fragging map, and it seems like that's kind of what these players excel at. As like I said before, you know, you see lots of utility misuse and more just fragging than anything going on. That's why Coastline seems to be better for both these teams, and that's why it was so close. Ultimately, the team that picked it, Bradley University, was the one that came out on top. We did see some beautiful plays from both teams. On Coastline. You know what? And even though these are the teams that are playing, I'm sure they'll agree with me. I can't say the same for this map. I haven't seen a single beautiful or good thing about this map so far, because I think it's almost like they're trying to play it like Coastline, and I just don't know exactly what I'm looking at.
I wonder if, you know, the big difference here is the way that you attack Clubhouse is a lot more dynamic in nature. You need to try and get open more than one entry point, no matter which bomb site you're attacking. It's true for Gym, for Basement here, as well as for CCTV. Whereas for Coastline, it's all about opening up doors and hard breaching, which is kind of that advanced level of the entry point for Siege. It just doesn't seem to be present here, and is causing a significant disturbance. The hatches will get opened up, so this is a big credit to HCC. We saw in the last round they were able to, once they got the Moto hatch open and established a nice bottom floor, or bottom main presence rather, they were able to execute well through from Moto, and actually I think they were able to sneak the Habana into the mid site and get a couple kills with the Type 89. That will be made a bit more difficult. We've got some barbed wire from Bradley, so they at least have something to try and slow down an aggressive sneak push, which is a big credit to them. An important change to be certain.
Yeah, I noticed that they took the night. Oh wow, I was just about to talk about him too. Nice headshot there on Atlas from Prodigy. So they took away the nitro from Prodigy, so he can't blow up the Electric Claw again. Cyclone gets taken down by K9, who's in sight. Down goes K9 though. Boy John, unexpected to be playing inside the dirt tunnel. Another interesting thing that I noticed, that Rogue running the reflex on the Commando for IQ. Speaking of Rogue, very low on health at the moment. Wagon's getting a little friendly with the edge of this hatch. There is somebody there. Nitro Cell does get ripped. Air Jab goes out, gets immediately ADS. There's still ADS is active behind that generator. Not sure. I think Rogue is still getting in gunfights on the main stairs and is bound to die any second now. As you can see, he's very anxious about peeking this. Just kidding. He's just going to get full aggressive on it. Down to the 10 seconds. 20-second meta is already halfway underway. Down goes the IQ. That's a nice headshot, unneeded. Boy John into Rogue. Wagons gets a refrag on a Prodigy. Boy John goes back onto Wagons. Pete gets super. And
did he have diffuser?
I don't know. But if he did not attempt to plant it.
I wonder if it's, you know, one of those spots where you're like too snug up close to a wall and you can't get the diffuser down, or maybe it had something to do with him needing to reload. I don't know the priority. I feel like the diffuser, though, probably would come up first.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that was very unfortunate. I mean, there's no way, even if Pete did kill, if he did kill the Cade there's no way he would have gotten the diffuse off. It just would have extended the time a little longer. But I mean, it's the thought that counts at the end of the day. But yeah, very unfortunate last few seconds push there. It definitely didn't help for Rogue that he was so low in health. Wagons is going to be 6-picking onto the Kali. Oh, not confirming it. Nope. Okay, now you've got no choice. As Bradley is going to go to the gym master bedroom again. They're going to try this one again. This did not work out well for them at all last time, as the you know, they're setting up with the castle and the shields and the bandit to hold Jacuzzi and Jim, and the attack did not happen from there at all. It seems like for this site, the meta has, really shifted more towards attacking cash side. You need a strong cash presence, but even more than that, the attack has really shifted towards main stairs and logistics as well, because there's not really much you can do other than roam to prevent anyone from coming up from main stairs. So that's kind of like a 50-50 who's better, who's going to win their gunfights. But there's nothing you can do short of nitroing from underneath with maybe like a 6-picked pulse or something on anyone in logistics. So logistics is kind of a safe bet. You have 2 hard walls to work with there, one that leads into construction, one that leads directly into site, and only 1 door to leave through though. And there's no, once you're in there, there's no getting out without going through the building.
One notable change is that we've got the Womai on the board. I don't think he had much play in prior rounds, especially for the gym defense. I would have liked to see a Mira. I feel like that probably would have worked out a little bit better for them. Another thing to worry about is the fact that they have the garage wall soft, so you can't really safely play inside the shower stall, which is one of the only defensible positions for gym bedroom, especially considering it's safe from vertical play below. But with a lack of, I was going to say a lack of a buck, they do have a buck, though it seems he's more focused on trying to push in through CCTV.
Yeah, he's already inside, just kind of wiggling about. There's a top red stairs. Going to place this hole just as he wants it. And it looks like we've got a, I believe that's Supa, based on the outline there, who might, no, it's Prodigy, my bad. It's going to maybe get aggressive there from construction. He's got himself a mute jammer. He's sitting right on top of the hatch. There's nobody beneath him, but it could potentially be open on him. The wall is soft next to him, though, so if this drone, if the drone spots him, then he's got the mute jammer. But Rogue could potentially open this wall right next to Prodigy, and I don't know why he doesn't, because that might, I mean, there's no reason not to, really, and it looks like he's getting ready to. Not exactly the place that would have been conducive for him trying to fight off Prodigy, but he did open it nonetheless. A gigantic sight line, as there was holes already into Jim, and Rogue's going to push right in, but wow, Worst Player was behind him, saving Grace and Prodigy there, making sure Prodigy didn't even have to get into that gunfight. His position still unknown. What a great shot by Worst Player, showing that even though he's slowed down a little bit from Coastline, he's still here and kicking, and he's going to get that kill, as now the attack has lost their first player at a minute left on the round.
Loading dart.
That is a really crucial loss, especially considering the amount of pressure you could have established coming through as the buck from construction. Though they will be able to refrag it, shutting down Boy John. Wagons is really suffering. I wonder if that's something to do with the fact that he hadn't really meant to play the Kali. It seemed he was a bit indecisive. Atlas will have one of his nades absorbed by the Womais, who I definitely noted earlier, but Prodigy shutting down Wagons. He was already low, and it was simply a confirm necessary. Cyclone taking a bit of damage. The Womai, his position, I think, is known. the SMG-11 swinging wide, and he doesn't see the player at the end of the hallway. I guess kind of assuming it would be clear and hoping for that to be the case. K9 taking up a position inside construction, but the diffuser way too far. 3 players left, and it seems like they'll be able to close this one out pretty easily. I think we're at a 3-3. Is this tied up? It seems to be relatively even game, and definitely the opposite of the Oregon, which we saw earlier, which was a 7-0. This is really structured, really back and forth. Okay, so we're at a 4-2. So the Braves have got the advantage here on their opponent's map pick. Coming out of the defense, though, a 4-2 split is not all too uncommon. So it seems next we'll be heading to CCTV and Cash. We've got a bit of a different lineup. Oh, Rogue is going to 6-pick, so maybe they won't be choosing the Doc, instead going for the
My mic
Legion.
was muted.
I had figured this much.
Yeah, I was going to say that yeah, that like since this is a more strat heavy map compared to Coastline, you know, the more strat related maps tend to favor the defense more, and so it makes sense that we'd see a 4-2. However, it's more common to see a 4-2 and call that an even half on a map like Villa or Oregon, which are like heavily defender sided. So a 4-2 while being closer to even, because this is a more strat heavy map. Strat heavy, like I said, synonymous with defender sided for the most part. Still not as defender sided. So a 4-2 while being close to even definitely favors the defenders a little more, I feel like.
I would agree with you there. It's definitely a bit of a leg up, especially considering this being Hawkeye's map pick. I talked about it earlier a bit during Coastline that you're going to want to be in the advantage. Actually, I think it was in the first series when I mentioned this point, but it's that when you're playing on your map pick on the unfavored side, that doesn't completely excuse you from the fact of going, you know, the traditional scoreline. You're going to want to keep it at least a 3-3 because you need to come into your map pick with the experience on that unfavored side. Because if you don't, a 4-2 split here, especially for Braves, who are a very aggressive gun skill team, this could easily skyrocket and snowball into them with a lot of momentum, closing out the series 2-0.
I do like what I'm seeing here a little bit. I mean, I like the Doc over the Rook. Looks like they're going for a little bit of a different strategy here. Instead of Maverick tricking, they're maybe trying to throw a grenade over, because they're making a hole, or they have the IQ, so they know where the Electroclaw is. It looks like they're trying. I don't know. They're definitely not trying to Maverick trick. Yeah, here comes the nade. It's gonna be not timed in the right way to get the Electroclaw. So I don't know what Bradley is attempting to do here. Another nade comes out. That's just gonna open up the window on the other side, and the wall is continuing to be electrified. K9 and Rogue inside of the garage. Pete was there earlier. I think he skedaddled. So now Boy John is going to attempt to get the rest of the wall open as he painfully gets zapped to death slowly. You can hear it making those pain noises are definitely out of place for being, I think, slightly electrified by a wall, but very loud. I didn't realize the garage did get open, so Rogue was taking quite a bit of a risk jumping down off the rafters. Not what you'd usually see, you know, the anchor, the higher armor player do in the rafters. Maybe that's something the job for maybe the dude with the Vector. Worst player has a general idea of where these players are, but I think he thinks there might be 2 of them, so when there is, so he's going to go back out. He doesn't exactly want to take this fight, and now we're down to under a minute left, and it's still a 5v5 with the wall not open. Things are looking really, really good for Hawkeye here.
4 players down in the lobby is not something that happens all too common, and it seems like them getting kind of stuck up down here is starting to be a bit of a punishment, though the Maverick on the refrag will shut down Pete. Where is Atlas getting all these kills from? Is he on the vertical play, or is he inside bar? I feel like it could be either way. Okay, so he's inside bar, locking off the
roaming mute.
The roaming mute with the MP5K. And Rogue will be tagged up a bit, so... Oh, he could just stem himself back up, so he won't ultimately suffer too much. It seemed like Bradley, they attempted to try and clear into Garage, but ultimately it didn't
5
really
seconds
work
remaining.
out, and this actually might be a successful plan, though
Attackers activating
there
the
isn't too many places that Cyclone can run, and he will be quickly shut down. But finishing my earlier thought, worst player, we saw him go below inside Garage. He tried to clear up, but ultimately giving up. I think that was probably the wrong decision. I would have preferred rather to see maybe 2 or 3 players push into Garage, try and deploy some utility, clear up through rafters, and then attack the Garage from a more sensible standpoint. And if you saw them take control of Garage, you don't really have to worry about plat wall, even just a 3-stack on Garage. You could get the plant down, and then you could have one player cover through the rotate, and the other one watch top red from the window, maybe having a drone for one of your dead teammates to cover the small steps rotate into Garage. That way you can switch off maybe the player that's holding the rotate to cover that in the event that somebody does try to go down there. I feel like that probably would have had maybe a bit more success in that last round. But ultimately, it seems Hawkeye are destined to keep this game a bit equal.
Yeah, no, and like I said before, the dock and rafters definitely helped because I think that like the spirit was there for I believe it was Prodigy playing the Rook and rafters. The spirit was there, but there's a reason people play
Attackers
dock.
need to
It's because he's like
locate
an
and defuse
ancient
bombs.
mythological beast when he's in rafters. Sorry. If you don't cut off his head by headshotting him, he's just going to keep coming back at full strength because he's just going to keep stimming himself up. And he's got a 1.5. Granted, it's not a 2, but it's enough to hold the angle to the breach there on that wall. And then you have to worry about a crossfire there. He can lay down. There's bars covering him, and every Siege player knows that bars are the bane of your existence if you're trying to kill someone on the other side of the bars. It's it's easy for them to shoot through the bars to you because they're close up to them, but when you're far away, you've got a high chance of hitting those bars. And so dock and rafters while holding the angle onto the breach of the CCTV wall is a very fearsome thing, and it was executed correctly there by Hawkeye. And that's just how it's done. That's why you bring Doc instead of Rook.
Now, as we see kind of a shift in circumstances, I do feel that the Doc is probably the better pick. It doesn't seem like the magnified sight would have much effect. And being able to stem up your teammates, especially when we're seeing a lot of these opening gunfights that don't result in a kill, it's mostly just, a bit of damage here and there. Being able to stem up your teammates and fight at full strength probably would be a bit more helpful. One thing to look out for, though, as we go down to the basement again, we have the Kate on the board. I don't want to see a nitro cell tossed up. And we have the Maestro holding close. He's got the shotgun, pistol, revolver, whatever you want to call it, holes open up so you can impact trick. So hopefully that does mean that the Electro Claw doesn't get immediately broken once they attempt to deny anything. Did Thermite just waste an exothermic?
I think he's trying to thermite trick.
Okay, he was trying to thermite trick. I think he was standing on the hatch, and that's why there was the zapping noises. Ultimately, though, immediately... What?
Can that electro claw not be shot through the floor? It's on the soft floor. They have an IQ. You should be able to shoot that. I mean, it might be underneath and I actually think it's too far to even be underneath. Yeah, what? All right, I mean, they're gonna have to rely on the impact trick now, but if you're gonna do that, you would have been better off using an electro claw somewhere else. That's why I personally don't put an electro claw on kitchen hatch, because if they want kitchen hatch open, they're going to open kitchen hatch because it's soft, so like there's not much you can do other than short of impact tricking like that. But yeah, so I think that now the nitro cell is going to be lined up next. The nitro cell is going to come out. That is going to get rid of the Hibana pellets as well. Enough of them so as that it does not open the hatch. And worst player will go down and get picked off by Pete in the end. That is the, I guess, refrag for Wagons. I didn't even notice Wagons down. Oh, Boyjon almost catching the head of K9, who definitely should not be taking this fight, as you kind of want your, Maestro to stay alive, especially in the basement. Prodigy taking a gunfight here with Atlas. Prodigy coming out worse for wear from that one, but he's got backup from Cyclone and Supa here as they all drop the hatch. They did manage to get Moto hatch open. Prodigy's going to peek again. He's going to get taken out by Rogue as he gets another one on Supa. K9 takes out Cyclone. It's all on Boyjon, who came down the main stairs. He's going to find a nice headshot on Pete. Finds that one up perfectly, but he's got 3 more defenders go through. Wow, great air jab's going to knock out Rogue, and he's going to get the headshot on him. him as well. Low health Atlas peeks, and he's gonna
Oh no!
take it down Atlas. A triple kill for Boyjon. It's all on K9 now, but the plant has to go down for Boyjon.
now
He's
the
gonna have to
evil
try to
eye.
find himself a place. And he found himself not a safe spot to be in.
No.
The plant has to go down. He can't find a place to do it. No way.
Honestly, you gotta give it
This
to
is
that
unreal.
Bonnet there. That was a close attempt to a clutch. She got 3 kills and almost was able to plant the diffuser. Unfortunately, kind of a similar situation to last time we saw an attempted plant in church. I feel like once she would plant the diffuser, if it was out of the reach of the Evil Eye, Maestro, given 7 seconds to rotate, probably would have denied that even before the plant was completed.
Yeah, with the time left, there wasn't a whole lot to work with, but you know, you gotta maybe give them a little. I feel like Boyjon might have been able to pull something out there, but I mean, unable to find a spot safe from the Maestro camera. That was just that was very unfortunate. And now Hawkeye wins 2 in a row on defenses. Are going to move to gym bedroom. Now they're forced to the
Attackers
tertiary
need to
site. We'll
locate
see
and
how it
defuse
works
bomb.
out for them here.
Yeah, I think Jim has been kind of mixed so far. The last time, to my knowledge, that we saw it defended was when the castle was forced into that. No, actually, I've got it mixed around. That was the time before last. Last time we saw this attempted was when the Jaeger tried to rotate through CCTV and he got just annihilated by worst player. Or was it worst player? No, I think worst player was actually the person who had died. It was the Habana on the rooftop. You know what I'm talking about? When she got that really lucky shot after
5
worst
seconds to
player
go.
attempted to go for the bullet hole angle.
Yeah.
It was only after
Objective is to locate
that
the bomb.
we saw really anything of substance on this bomb site. There was a big attempt at pushing through from Logi. Unfortunately, the sledge ran out and exposed himself. Attempted to peek from the Logi door down to the main steps, though not, in fact, checking the showers, or rather, I guess the gym hallway 90. He didn't check that angle, and unfortunately for him, there was somebody kind of sitting there next to the boxes who was his demise. I'm hoping for a bit of a different situation in this round. A notable departure is the fact that we don't see the Wamai, an operator who played a big part in that last round in denying frag grenades, which were utilized well, though no frags for Bradley.
Yeah, not bringing any frag grenade operators is a bit of a question. You know, you want to at least have one, because usually those. Oh wow, Rogue nearly getting tracked through the wall. Just a little slow on that one from Supa. The ARX not quite catching up with the slow French operator there. Now Supa's aware of the fact that, you know, Rogue's gonna have to make that big rotation all the way around up red stairs, coming back. Worst player gonna use a breaching charge on the window. See, I know that's what breaching charges were originally designed for, but like no one ever uses them that way anymore, because it's so much easier to just break them from a distance with a impact from the, you know, the impact launcher, or Ash's breaching charge launcher, or just busting them open from the side to be safe. The wall's open and Cyclone is in, but he's planting in the middle of the door. I mean,
Where's
he's
the
safe,
rotate?
covered from the gym. There's no rotate, no footholds, but he's visible from the gym door, and nobody went there. Rogue is going to take out Boyjon, but worst player in Cyclone get back on Rogue and Pete. Down goes Wagons as well. What? How did Cyclone get into sight? Atlas takes out Prodigy, but Atlas and K9 are low. Speaking of low, K9 is now dead. It's all on the 1/3 health Atlas fighting outside, or fighting the Cyclone outside. I don't know how Cyclone just ran into sight. There was no footholds. There was no one came to even check and pre-fire the window. I'm sorry, the door on the gym there. They did attempt to shoot through, just random spray through from the Valkyrie, which is a good effort, and that's why I'm sure he was planting behind the gym set. But based on that spray from the Valkyrie, there were so many other spots that he could have been planting in that just spray wouldn't have hit. That was just from the really good defenses we've seen from Hawkeye the previous 2 rounds. That was a huge changeup and a gigantic misplay there, and Bradley is going to just take full advantage of that, and they're going to take the lead now after having the lead, you know, brought back their lead brought back to a tie. They're going to take it once again.
Pretty back and forth so far, and it was it seems the scoreline's kind of similar to what happened on Coastline. Doesn't really matter whose map pick it is. It's just kind of little mistakes costing rounds, and then it goes back and forward. The team's trying to analyze their mistakes. But yeah, a misplay big time. And that's not, something that I've looked at in other rounds where it's kind of, a really advanced, setup that you want to do. That's kind of, you need to have a rotate. Why are you playing gym bedroom? That's almost as bad, I would say, as reinforcing between the sites, because you don't have a sight line. It didn't seem like they really had any intel. And there's only so much you can say beyond that was critical misplay. Bandit batteries on the garage wall. It seems like with the lack of the Thatcher, the Cade has just been really critical. I mean, we've seen Ash breaching rounds die to electrified walls while they attempted the Maverick trick. Though no Maverick at all this round. They'll be focusing on a IS split kind of Thermite Sophia through stock attack for going to this, but Sophia is on the cache window, which does make me a bit nervous that she's going to waste her utility to an ADS.
Yeah, the Thatcher was banned, and allowing the Bandit and the Cade to both go through, definitely going to make this a little harder on the attack here. But I mean, Bradley does have the advantage in terms of rounds, and they are able to get this wall open now. So, and here's the thing too, if you're gonna let and Bradley's playing this really well, if you're gonna let Cade and Bandit go through while banning Thatcher, if you're defending, you need to have downstairs presence, because the only way they're gonna get the stuff off the wall is if they go downstairs. That's exactly what they did. The IQ took out the Electro Claw, so like you need to have that downstairs presence if you want to stop. And there's no downstairs presence, and now because there's no downstairs presence, Boy John's going to push into the garage. He's going to take out Rogue. However, K9 is there with the TCSG, surprisingly, to get the refrag. Still running the TCSG. What a faithful man. I used to run the TCSG, but after the nerf I just couldn't do it.
I have to agree with you there. Worst player, the big impact player for Coastline, seems to be maybe moving back towards that territory. Interesting that Cyclone plants out in the open. I guess he's worried about K9. Unfortunately, that Nitro Cell just a few seconds too late. We'll sit at a 3-on-3. Worst player in an excellent position to deny the plant. Pete's rotate quickly shut down by Prodigy inside of construction. And now Atlas and K9 stuck in between a rock and a hard place. The Goyo's position should be well understood after the deployment of that air jab. And ooh, nice position there at the edge of the plat wall. He didn't spot it. Failing to check the angle. Why aren't they denying the plant, though? It seems maybe a bigger focus on the lifeline. And it seems Supa caught a bit off guard by the Jaeger, but ultimately doesn't suffer anything. Prodigy simply will come through and deny that. Really worried about the plant denial there. You should probably focus on getting a couple more kills, especially when you're worrying about attackers both outside on... Well, I guess they weren't really worried about outside on plat wall. They thought it was clear, but you're probably going to have somebody come in from garage, from inside of CC window, and obviously you already knew after Pete died that somebody was inside construction. So 3 areas to worry about, not the situation to try and get a ninja defuse.
Yeah. And honestly, though, with how slow that Bradley University were to check the diffuser, like I almost feel like he could have stuck that, because he did get off of it at one point. But you saw that despite having the advantage of, the Jaeger not knowing that he was there, Supa took forever to peek that angle with the Nomad, and the Jaeger had his back to Supa, and then I believe his Prodigy peeked, saw the Jaeger on the diffuser, and didn't take the shot, went back, and then peeked again and took the shot. And Supa also taking a worryingly, I mean, granted it was a short amount of time, but a worryingly long amount of time considering the situation to kill that Goyo hopping through the window. That was like, I honestly feel like the Jaeger could have stuck that and won. I feel like that was the
I have to interject. It wasn't an issue of him sticking it. It was the lifeline concussion that forced him off of the...
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, I forgot that was a thing, because, until recently that didn't quite work correctly. It's been working, on and off, the way Ubisoft do, Ubisoft be. Yeah.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Not a more truer statement than that. I'm interested to see what the breach denial will be. Obviously, last time we had the Electroclaw out in the open. An aggressive play here by Wagons, maybe trying to make up for some earlier deficits as far as kills we've seen him get, though he instantly falls back off of it. A smart play given the circumstances. That was really confusing with the thermite repelling up. I thought he was like glitched inside the building, but ultimately, like I mentioned, I want to focus on what's going to happen with the hard breach. So they have the Electroclaw on the hatch again. I don't imagine that same trick of putting it out in the middle of the ceiling is going to work twice. And the IQ, who they've been running consistently, should be able to take that out. And we'll see her pull this out.
You
and
can't be doing that. If they're running the IQ,
can't.
you have to put it on the hatch. You have to put it on the hatch. You know they're running the IQ. But it doesn't matter. The impact trick is not going to stop them. Whoa.
No!
Oh my goodness. Things could not be going worse for
that
the
went
team
from
that
bad
is,
for worse. Oh no.
the team that's on the receiving end of match point. And you're really about to do them like this, Ubisoft? Granted, the Cage should have put the Electric Claw on the hatch, but the impact trick not working there for K9. And did the Nitro Cell, did he down himself with his own Nitro Cell? Take it. I can't.
Well, this is, luckily for us casters, looking to be a solid round for Bradley, especially after misplay after misplay. Rogue now on 20 health by virtue of his own Nitro Cell. The hatch open up, which is the very definition of a freebie.
Device in position.
With the lack of the nades, though, it will be increasingly difficult to get open the Moto hatch, which I wonder if that'll have a significant effect. Obviously, it's not like you can just have the IQ phase through the wall and shoot it with a pistol. They don't have the Twitch, which I know was played a little bit earlier in the game. They don't have the frags, which is usually the way you go about removing that with the Thatcher band when you've got an Electroclaw. Though Pete will get a kill onto Prodigy. With Rogue, K9, and Atlas on low health, a very precarious situation. Boy John will capitalize on the Cage himself. Not exactly doing too well in the health department, but a big rotate. Doesn't matter if there's an Electroclaw on the hatch. Wagons will go down, and now this is a situation gone from bad to worse. I can't believe I've said that twice in one round now, but it's the exact way to describe it. The rotate from Pete, he comes through above, but it seems like the presence inside of Kitchen has already been vacated. You'll hear the air jab detonate, which should give them plenty of intel on Pete's top floor position, and in fact, it seems the Nomad is rotated to lock that off. The diffuser going down. It's a little too late to deny the plant, though, and this Evil Eye should be swiftly dealt with by the 5.56. Pete and K9 both substantially low health, and, well, not short-lived. And the Maestro goes down as well. Bradley University will take our series 2-0 after a long and drawn-out clubhouse.
Yeah, that was... You know, I feel so bad, you know, like, laughing at that last round, but, like, it's, like, it was, like, that, I feel so bad for the Hawkeyes, because that round could not have gone worse. It really couldn't have, and that was so unfortunate. The Electroclaw being placed, you know, in a place where IQ can shoot it, the impact grenade question-markingly not destroying the exothermic charge, the Nitro Cell being used, not only not killing anyone, but downing the person who used it.
GG, guys.
It was just, that last round was just so unfortunate. And these two teams were so close. Their strategies were, like, you know, they were looking very similar in terms of the things that were working and the mistakes they were making across both maps. But in the end, it just seems like Bradley University just had the slightly higher skill cap in terms of winning those gunfights. And I think that rides mostly on the back of Worst Player, who, his name, ironically, he is the best player, it seems, on Bradley University. A lot of gun skill from that player, and I feel like I said, everything in terms, like, they were even making the same mistakes, but the strategies, mistakes, everything were the same across the entire board. Is just that gunplay was just there from Bradley.
And it seemed like the gunplay was more consistent as well, which is what you're going to hope for in this situation. Just having the ability to close out some of those rounds does give you a bit of an edge. And I think definitely probably lent them a bit more success. But ultimately, they take the series. It seemed like Red Tails, they had a close attempt. There were some rounds that worked out really well, and there were some that didn't go that way as they might have imagined. And as I mentioned for Coastline, the series really had a lot to offer in terms of variety. It had all types of kooky plays on the first map. The second was a bit more default, but not in the way as you would imagine. Ultimately, though, Bradley, they didn't give up. They kept on fighting, and they were able to take their opponent's map pick even after a close scare on Coastline. That's all from us. However, I've been Sticula, joined by Poseidon, our producer Tango Mango Down, or rather Observer, and our producer Strax. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning into our 2 series tonight. Be sure to follow CR6 on all social medias. Thank you for tuning in, and good night.
Good night.